to multiply decimals in different ways. Now, some of the ways to multiply decimals are the traditional way, which we call the standard algorithm way. Then there's also the area model way, and there's also partial products. We're going to try to solve this problem 1 and 2300ths times 2 and 1/10 using the traditional standard algorithm way. Now, if you notice the decimal points, I did not line them up in a straight line. In multiplication, we don't need to line them up in a straight line. All right? Now, step one to doing this is you're going to multiply and you're going to multiply while, ignoring the decimals. We're going to multiply this while ignoring the decimals. That means later on we'll look at the decimal points. So in the traditional way, you start from the right side. And so we'll work with this 1 right here. So we'll do 1 times 3. We'll do 1 times 2. And we'll do 1 times 1. Now we're going to use the 2. We're done with the 1. Now we'll look at this 2. And that means we need to make a second row. And over here, you can leave it blank, or you can write a 0, or you can do this. Okay, that's what I do. 2 times 3. So now we have 2 times 3, which is 6. 2 times 2, which is 4. 2 times 1, which is 2. And then you add it up like this. So this is the answer without looking at the decimal points. But now we need to think about what happens when we have decimals. So one way to think about this is to count how many decimal places there are from the right. Okay, so we need to count decimal places from the right. For example, this decimal point right here is 1, 2 places from the right. And this decimal point right here is only 1 place from the right. So therefore, this final answer needs to be 3 places from the right. So here you go, 1, 2, and 3. And so our final answer is 2 and 583 thousandths. Later on in this video we'll get into why this actually works. Okay. So this is what you do if you're using the traditional way or the standard algorithm way. Now another way is the area model. And so for the area model, so again, it's good to know as many ways as possible. But another goal too is to feel comfortable with at least one way. This is a little big. So here I have one whole. So I'm looking at one whole. I see 2/10, and I see 3/100. And then here, so again, I'm looking at this piece by piece. I have one whole, I have 2/10, I have 3/100. Okay. And I'm a big fan of just drawing your lines right away. Now we can write some numbers here. We are multiplying 1 whole and 23 hundredths by 2 tenths. 2 wholes and 1 tenth. 2 wholes and 1 tenth. Okay. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 tenth times 1. Well, wait a minute. 1 times 1 is 1. But here, from the right side, I have 1 decimal place. So my final answer has to be 1 decimal place from the right. 2 times 2 tenths is 4 tenths. So you can also think about that in your mind. If I have 2 groups of 2 tenths, I have 4 tenths. Now this one is 0.1 times 0.2. So if you do this, if you even just do this traditionally, this decimal point is 1 place from the right. This decimal point is also 1 place from the right. So therefore, our final answer should be 1 place from the right, 2 places from the right. And I'm writing a 0 right here, so 0.02. And then if I have 2 groups of 3 hundredths, I have 6 hundredths. Now I have 0.1 times 0.03. I'll just ignore the decimals like the traditional way. 1 times 3 is 3. This decimal point is 1 place from the right. This decimal point is 2 places from the right. So therefore, my final answer has to be 3 places. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, once you have all of these, you need to add them up. So 2 plus 0.4, 2 plus 0.4, plus 0.06. Notice that I'm lining up my decimals in a straight line. 0.1, 0.02. I like writing the zeros right here so to avoid mistakes. And then I have 3 thousandths here. So if I add all of this up now, 3, 8, 5. So that should be the same answer as the last one. Yes, it is. Okay, so that's the area model. Again, if you like the area model, use the area model. Okay, if you're comfortable with that, use the area model. The last one here is partial products. So partial products, the nice thing about partial products and area models, you can go in any order you want. But the traditional way, you have to start from the right. Okay, but with partial products or area model, you can start wherever you want. So for example, I could go 1 times 2. I could go 1 whole times 1 tenth, 1 whole times 1 tenth. And then I could go, oh hey, let me do 2 tenths times 2. 2 tenths times 2. If I have 2 tenths and I have 2 groups of 2 tenths, if I have 2 tenths and I double that, I have 4 tenths. And if I have 2 tenths times 1 tenth, so I can also do that here on the side. That's 1 place, another place, 2 places. Now I could do 3 hundredths, 3 hundredths times 2, 3 hundredths times 2, and I could do 3 hundredths times 1 tenth, 3 hundredths times 1 tenth. And I could do that on the side. Ignore the decimals first. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 decimal place, 2 decimal places. And that's 1 decimal place. So 2 decimal places plus 1 decimal place, 3 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3. And so my final end, oh, sorry. So this would be 3 thousandths, and then I'd add them up. Add everything. 3, 8, 5. There you go. So that is the partial products way of doing that. Again, I lined up the decimals, and hopefully that made it quicker and helpful to do partial products. All right. Good luck. Hopefully you find your favorite.